I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Slars. We're going to begin with the latest on the investigation into that deadly mass shooting. It was just blocks away here in New York City as officials reveal new details about the gunman.
Police say that man, armed with a military-style assault rifle, opened fire inside a high-rise in Midtown Manhattan last night, and that he killed an NYPD officer and 3 others. The shooter is also dead. Authorities say killing himself. He's been identified as 27-year-old Shane Tamura of Las Vegas. Witness video captured the chaotic moments when officers were seen carrying victims' bodies, including one of their own, out from the building. The NYPD commissioner described this timeline of the shooting.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover behind the security desk. One additional male is shot in the lobby. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed. He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is route and management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds as he traveled.
One person was struck and killed on that floor. The gunman then made his way down a hallway where police say he shot himself in the chest. Let's get the latest on the investigation from NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. Tom, good to have you with us. All right, so when we look at this building, we know it houses the headquarters of several large financial firms like Blackstone, also the National Football League. This morning, officials familiar with the investigation tell NBC News the suspect left a note inside of a car near the scene. What are we learning about this person and a possible motive?
Yeah, and apparently it was that car that he got out of, and then we saw, obviously, that surveillance video of him walking into the building. According to multiple people that have been briefed on the investigation, there's the note that's found inside of the car, and apparently a reference to the fact that maybe football injuries led to his mental health decline, and there's a specific reference to CTE, which is, of course, the brain condition that so many former athletes have suffered as a result of their time playing football or other sports, frankly, that can lead to a breakdown mentally. It's not clear at all if he has CTE. This is somebody who, when we first Googled him last night, information comes up. He played high school football, and that's something that he had an interest in, that he was involved in. But it's not like somebody who played 20 years in the National Football League after a college career, et cetera. So that's something that they're definitely going to look at. There was nothing on his person that they found that could help with respect to motive. But I think this note appears to be quite clear and appears to be left behind for investigators to find.
That photo that we were just showing there that's taken from that surveillance footage of what looks like this very large assault rifle being carried into the building. What do we know about that? About what weapons were recovered at the scene? Do we know if they were obtained legally?
Yeah, so Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says that was an M4 assault rifle. So it's the same type of assault rifle that we've seen on so many of these type of shootings. Carrying it there is obviously illegal to have in New York City. It's not something that we see out unless a police officer has one out. Certainly would never carry it that way. They also found apparently a revolver as well as additional ammunition and magazines were found inside the vehicle, the revolver inside the vehicle. As far as whether or not they're obtained legally, that's something that they're in the process of investigating right now. That is something in the past where we have seen, if there are additional individuals charged and somebody sell them the gun, that shouldn't have, particularly given his mental health history. But those laws can be tricky as well. So that'll all be part of the investigation. That's one of the reasons why we saw last night and heard on the radio transmissions, the NYPD was calling for its heavily armed teams because they knew what they were dealing with, and they knew that this was somebody who had a lot of firepower.
Let's talk about the victims. We mentioned an NYPD officer lost his life. Officer Didarul Islam worked out of Islam but was on detailed assignment in Midtown last night. What are we learning about this officer and the other victim?
Yeah, so out of the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx, and as we see, and frankly we see here at our own building, we have officers that are on paid details. Basically, that means that they are a member of the New York City Police Department. They show up in uniform, but the building or the company pays for that police presence. And at a building like this, with the type of companies, you reference Blackstone, other major multinational companies, you've got the NFL that's there. All of these buildings have companies that people really know, are well known, and that a very small segment of the population might have some sort of an issue with or perceived issue with. And so that's the reason why you see that uniform presence. Also, that individual is going to be armed and has a potential opportunity to stop something like this. Obviously, when you have somebody come in and just start firing, it's very difficult for any officer. This is particularly difficult. This officer has 2 sons. His wife is pregnant with a 3rd child, an immigrant to the United States. And as the police commissioner said last night, doing, what everybody has asked him to do, he died a hero, as she said.
He's been with NYPD 3.5 years, no doubt. Everyone is paying tribute to him and his service.
Definitely.
Right. Tom Winter, appreciate your reporting. Thank you so much.
Well, now we want to bring in Nikisha Lewis. She witnessed the chaos during the shooting from what's called the NFL Plaza. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. We are so glad you were not harmed during what must have been just this terrifying situation. I know you told some of our colleagues at NBC News yesterday that it felt like you were in a war zone. If you could just help people understand kind of where you were, this area. I understand you've hung out with your friends before pretty often, kind of what you do there, and then what you heard and saw when the shooting began.
So the plaza of the building provides public access to the community, so it's more of like a recreational area for folks who live and work in the area. I have 3 friends who just moved into the area, so I was having dinner there. That was an ideal spot for us to catch up. Within moments of us actually talking and eating, we heard rapid gunfire from inside the building, and I remember looking up. I had brief conversations with the officer prior to him going into the building. And I remember my field of vision was where he was standing before the gunshots. I could see him or see straight into the building as the gunshot started. One of the walls of the building, which is glass, was practically shattered, but not all the way. So I couldn't see inside. So I knew immediately it was some type of gunfire. And my friends and I crouched as best as we could. We were on the perimeter walls of the property. There are seating areas along that area. We crouched toward the exit of the property, and as we were about to exit the property fully, we saw a worker run from the building, and he was running really hard. And I was like, wow, that's really great. He's trying to get away from the chaos. But as he reaches us, he finally says, help, help. I've been shot. And because of how strong he was running, I couldn't believe, so I turned around to look. He had what looked like a wound, I don't know if it was in the back.
And
to help him settle down.
What were you able to do to help that person in that moment? Because I think a lot of people, their instinct would have been to run, but I know you and your partner actually helped that person.
Basically, the wall is elevated on one side and is very low on the other. So we all just instinctively thought to just get everybody and ourselves behind the taller section of the wall, which is the street that you're seeing right now.
After that moment, when you left the plaza, I know you spoke also with an officer. What was that conversation like?
It was before everything transpired. We had a bit of a spat that I don't know if I want to address right now, but he subsequently went inside the building. Essentially, I felt like when we just got into the perimeter of where we decided to seat ourselves, he suddenly had positioned himself immediately next to us, which for guys on detail and security guards, that's what they do to certain groups of people, you know what I mean? And so I took issue with that. I was saying we're clearly not a present threat to the building. Why are you standing over that? Over us, that's making me uncomfortable in my user experience. And he was a very mild-mannered man. He didn't try to be all, like boisterous or anything. He just gently left us where we're sitting and went into the building to stand close to the revolving door, which I imagine that's where he encountered the gunman, because he would have been the first and at that point the only person on site with a weapon that could challenge him. So that's why he might have been shot first. But I do think back to whether if he were still next to us, it would have been caught up in the crossfire. I do remember running across the street to the church as we were escaping the immediate vicinity of the incident. I just started crying. I don't know anybody personally, but the shock of the experience, not having been in a mass shooting incident before, it really... I'm one of the last people he spoke with, like moments before he was killed. I'm still just spirit in engaging with us. And really
Nakisha Lewis, what an experience, and it's breaking up a little bit, so I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you, but what an experience it sounds like you had. We so appreciate your time this morning. We are so happy you are okay. Thank you for sharing those details with us.
In other news, a huge part of the country is feeling the heat again this morning. If you live on the East Coast, anywhere from New England all the way down to Florida, well, we don't have to tell you about the extreme temperatures and the humidity. Get this. More than 150 million people are starting the day under a heat alert. That's about how many people voted in last year's presidential election. The National Weather Service issued a heat advisory for here in New York through tomorrow. Temperatures expected to reach the upper 90s. It'll feel like triple digits when you factor in the humidity. The city opened cooling centers to help people escape the fifth heat emergency so far this summer. To the south, cities like Savannah, Miami, and Charleston have reached near record temperatures this week. Forecasters say relief may be on the way soon, with a cold front expected to move in tomorrow night. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda has more from Jersey City. Emily, good morning.
Hey there. Well, you know it's going to be a brutally hot day when my not-so-pocket-sized thermometer is showing 80 degrees even at this early hour, and we know it's only going to get worse. This area could feel like 105, marking northeastern New Jersey's third extreme heat warning so far this season, as officials from Jacksonville, Florida to New York City are urging people simply to stay inside with this heat dome hanging on and impacting more than 150 million people. It has cities across the region extending hours for things like splash pads behind me, pools. New York City, for instance, even transforming cultural hubs like museums into massive cooling centers as it experiences its fifth heat emergency of the season. Meantime, the upper Midwest is experiencing and cleaning up from a different weather woe. Detroit was drenched by several inches of rain. The airport there experiencing a temporary ground stop yesterday, and there was a possible tornado that touched down in South Dakota yesterday, tearing through homes and farms as well. Meantime, Dallas could see yet another day of a heat index feeling like 103. It has fire and rescue crews running back-to-back calls. In addition to the heat and concerns around heat-related illnesses, there are also concerns about air quality alerts stretching from Delaware to Massachusetts, impacting millions of people. Officials urging people to be mindful, especially in those more vulnerable populations. Think younger kids, older adults, people with heart and breathing conditions. A bit of a 1-2 punch for heading outside today. Back to you.
All right, Emily, thank you.
Now let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Angie Lastman.
She's tracking the temperatures for us this morning. So, Angie, this is the part where you just point at all these high numbers and list them off, right?
To sum it up, yes, guys, you're exactly right. It's going to be another scorcher of a day. You just heard Emily kind of laying out exactly what we have in store. And when you see it visually, we've got a whole lot of folks that are under these alerts, and for good reason this morning. 154 million people from Kansas City out to New York, down to Tampa, along the Gulf Coast, parts of the Midwest included in this. And some of these alerts are going to stay with us through tomorrow as well, through at least Wednesday. We'll finally start to see some relief beyond that. But between now and then, we've got a couple of really warm and extremely dangerous days when it comes to our temperatures and our humidity levels. Here's what we've got on store for today in New York City. 98 degrees, but will feel like 103 at the warmest point of the day. 112 for what it'll feel like in Nashville. 117 for Memphis's heat index later today. 109 in St. Louis. Detroit, not much better. You're going to hit 90 degrees and feel like 96. Tomorrow, a little bit of relief for our friends in parts of the upper Midwest, but not so much really Cincinnati and points south and out towards the coast and as far west as Dallas. 102 for your temperature tomorrow in Dallas, but you will feel like 104. We've got New York feeling like 100 degrees. And finally, as we get into the end of the work week, we'll see a big chunk of the country getting some relief, specifically the Northeast back toward the Great Lakes. It's 70s from Thursday through Saturday in Cleveland. We've got 70s returning to the forecast on Friday in New York City. It'll actually be a pretty great weekend for folks there. The farther south you go, though, places like Charlotte, Nashville, you're going to hold on to those 90s really through the end of the work week. But notice Little Rock, you go from 97 degrees on Thursday to 87 degrees by the time Saturday rolls around. So we've got a couple of days to get through before we get some relief. One thing to note, though, with all the sunshine, with the heat, we do have difficulty when it comes to air quality. We've got some alerts up, and they're alerts that extend from Rehoboth Beach all the way up through Philadelphia, New York, and up into Newport. These are going to be in effect through the day today because we do have those unhealthy levels of air quality for sensitive groups. So if you are sensitive, making sure that you're staying indoors, everybody really finding a cool spot is going to be the best way to beat the heat today.
Another reason to stay inside today.
Yep.
Oh, gosh, not looking forward to it. Thank you.
You got it.
President Trump is wrapping up his trip to Scotland today. Earlier this morning, the president attended the grand opening of his new golf course in Aberdeen. And later this afternoon, he'll be flying back to Washington.
His return comes the day after he met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The two men mainly discussed the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, but the war in Ukraine was also on the agenda, with the president renewing his frustration at Russian President Vladimir Putin.
NBC News White House correspondent Von Hilliard joins us now. So, Von, one of the big headlines from yesterday's talks was the president saying he's going to shorten dramatically that 50-day deadline for Russia to end the war with Ukraine. Tell us more about that and what reasons he's giving.
We still don't know, Joe, exactly what the end result of Russia not agreeing to a ceasefire end of the war is when that deadline is reached. But the president had initially, you're right, said this 50-day deadline for Russia to effectively not only come to the negotiating table, but actually bring this war to a halt. And in the last 36 hours, 300 drones, according to the Ukrainians, were launched from Russia in the direction of Ukrainian cities. And that is where you hear this president shortening up the timeline before he says that he and the United States will take action. Take a listen.
There's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs. I was very tough on Putin in one way, but we got along very well. And I never really thought this would happen. I thought we'd be able to negotiate something, and maybe that'll still happen. But it's very late down the process, so I'm disappointed.
Now, you heard him mention those secondary tariffs. Effectively, that would be tariffs that are placed on countries that import Russian goods, particularly oil and gas. So that could be additional tariffs on China and India, for example, effectively trying to force those countries to stop doing business with Russia. Of course, the economic repercussions would be massive. Up on Capitol Hill, there's actually already bipartisan legislation in the Senate to implement those sort of tariffs at a 500% level there. So far, the president has held off on giving the head nod to Congress to go forward with that piece of legislation, seemingly giving Vladimir Putin and the Russians at least a little bit more time to bring this war to an end, though at this point, 3 years on, Russia has shown little inclination to do so.
Von, trade was also a big part of this trip. We talked a lot yesterday about the trade deal with the European Union, and now we're getting more reaction from European leaders. Not all seem to be so happy with it. What are we hearing there?
That's right. This is European Union is a 27-nation member group, and what you're looking at is the EU, the head of it, sitting down over the weekend with the presidents of the United States, sharing the framework of this agreement. And there was a great frustration among some members. Particularly, there is that 15% tariff that is now levied on goods, including French wine, for example. And I bring up the French for a specific reason. The French prime minister very specifically making the case, quote, "It is a dark day when an alliance of free peoples gathered to affirm their values and defend their interests resolves to submission," suggesting that the EU effectively caved to the demands of the United States. The head of the EU saying that this brings stability and predictability to their markets. There's 3.5 years of this Trump administration and the EU clearly trying to avoid any escalation in terms of the trade war between the United States and its members.
Von, while we're talking trade, we saw the U.S. and China restart talks yesterday. Real quick, how did that go?
Right, and actually in just the last hours this morning here, day 2 of talks have begun between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer meeting with Chinese delegation. Yesterday, those talks took place. There were no breakthroughs announced. There is the second day of talks. There is an August 12th deadline that the White House has set for China to come to a trade agreement with the United States before it places those sky-high tariffs back on China. You'll recall that earlier this summer, the two countries agreed to scale back those tariffs that had set up an effective embargo, there is still, economists and experts say, a long ways to go in terms of actually getting into concrete details of a potential trade agreement. So a lot of questions ahead here over the next 2 weeks. But in Stockholm, clearly some progress to some extent here between the U.S. and China.
All right, Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, the domestic firestorm surrounding the files of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has also cast a shadow over the president's Scotland visit.
Yeah, after that meeting with Prime Minister Starmer, the president was asked several questions about those files, as well as his former relationship with Epstein. Take a listen to some of what he said.
If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumback joins us now on this. Gary, good morning. So we heard the president there, essentially dismiss these files as a hoax. And we also heard him question why the previous Biden administration never released them either. So let's address that. What do we know about why Democrats at the time didn't release these files?
So conspiracy has been swirling around this for years, ever since Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his jail cell in 2019. And so many of these documents have actually been released between 2008 and 2019 during some of these criminal proceedings of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But Democrats have been trying for years and years to release anything that does, in fact, remain that could be interesting to the public interest. You'll remember the late Elijah Cummings, the head of the House Oversight at the time, tried to hold a hearing about this in 2019. But so many of these documents that still remain are secret. They were involved in grand jury proceedings, and by law, by federal law, that information can only be released publicly by a judge, and that's exactly what we see happening in courts in New York these days.
You mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell, that is Epstein's former accomplice. We now see that her attorney renewing his request for the Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. Tell us what her lawyer's arguing here.
So Maxwell's attorneys here are arguing that she should not have been prosecuted in New York because they say she had a non-prosecution agreement in Florida. However, it's unclear if she actually ever signed that agreement in Florida and if she was ever a party to that agreement. It seems to be that her name is not at all involved in that agreement. So there could be a case where here the Supreme Court just simply throws this away and doesn't do anything about it. But it'll be months and months before we hear anything from the Supreme Court on this issue.
What about the Justice Department? What's the latest on where they stand?
Well, that's where this all started, right? At the beginning of July, they came out with a letter saying Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, trying to put away any of those conspiracy theories about how exactly he could have died, and also saying they weren't going to release any more files. That had President Trump's MAGA base incredibly fired up because they were looking for some incriminating evidence about high-profile Democrats that they may never get. Guys?
All right, Gary, thank you so much.
At least 2 children are dead after a boat crash off the coast of Miami Beach yesterday. Several others were injured. Surveillance footage exclusively obtained by NBC News shows the moment authorities say a barge struck a sailboat which was carrying kids and a counselor from a nearby sailing camp. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch has more from the scene.
This is the moment a picturesque day at a children's sailing camp turned to tragedy in South Florida.
Part of a submerged sailboat with missing children.
Authorities say a barge struck a sailboat carrying 5 children and an adult in Miami's Biscayne Bay.
We do have Miami Beach Fire Marine around as well. You're responding with fireboats.
Surveillance footage obtained exclusively by NBC News shows the barge toppling the much smaller vessel. The U.S. Coast Guard says all 6 people were recovered, but a 7-year-old girl and a 13-year-old girl both died.
I've never seen so many ambulances, dive rescue. I couldn't even barely walk. It was so crowded.
The horrific crash sparking a massive response. Divers and police boats swarming. The barge carrying a crane sitting in the water for hours. The Miami Yacht Club telling NBC News the sailboat was from its Youth Sailing Foundation summer camp, a program for children ages 7 to 15. The club writing it's devastated by this terrible tragedy. Meanwhile, authorities are investigating how this could have happened.
Our thanks to Jesse Kirsch for that report. The sailboat was submerged under the barge for hours after the incident before first responders were able to recover it. 2 more victims, an 8-year-old girl and an 11-year-old girl, remain in the hospital at last check in critical condition.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.